Last week, a Turkish court ruled that the government could take over its remaining opposition daily newspaper called the Zaman. The country's largest free media paper, the print publication had a circulation of 650,000. It didn't take long before the police raided Istanbul office and began firing water cannons and tear gas on reporters and protesters seeking to block the government takeover. A former Zaman editor who fled the country, Karim Balsi, told CW6 News,
"It's already a new de facto constitution is being written in Turkey. The governance is a mafia government in Turkey. It is not just a dictatorship. In a dictatorship there may be still rule of law. You may know what will happen tomorrow. In a mafia rule, you don't know anything."
For the past several years, Turkey, a NATO member, has been actively seeking to join the European Union. But Balsi said the government only wants a visa waiver so Turks can freely travel, something that will be a part of the new EU-Syrian refugee agreement.
Turkey managed to take it in return for its shameful acceptance of return of Syrian refugees back to Turkey. According to the latest agreement, about 1 million Syrian refugees who are already in Europe will be sent back to Turkey in return for some money.
So far, the EU says they would give Turkey about $3 billion. However, in a new wrinkle, Italian prosecutors said they have launched a money laundering investigation against Turkish President Erdogan's son. The last edition of the Zaman was published on Saturday. The headline simply read, "Constitution Suspended." By Monday, pro-government stories had already erased the last free and fair newspaper in Turkey.
And now with more on this topic is San Diego 6 News contributor Kimberly DeVore actually joins me live. Good morning.
Morning.
So this is the start of something that could really potentially go very wrong. Where do you see things going from here?
Okay, well, what's happening in Turkey, they've been having a lot of issues. You know, obviously they're the gateway to Europe from the Middle East, where we're seeing all of the fighting with ISIS. A couple of points to make here. They were always a secular nation, and they were able to do business with the West because they really kept the religious factor out of their government and out of the public square for the most part. So they're actually starting to turn towards the more authoritarian rule, like in al-Sisi in Egypt. There have been several terrorist attacks within Turkey lately, and those terrorist attacks have united the people behind the government because, you know, they're worried about terrorism there. So, but a lot of the papers, like the one that was shut down last week, they actually are fighting, and they're the opposition, so they're getting other stories out there. The government doesn't like that. This may be a false flag, but you know, it just, you know, they're shutting down their opposition, which means that they're going to be going towards this dictator or authoritarian rule. So.
And this comes at an interesting time, as we see here in the news, obviously the fight for freedom of speech here with the political battle and the heat on the campaign trail and Donald Trump, and fighting for just the chance for him and the people that support him to get up and have their chance to speak.
Absolutely. I mean, there is a good tie-in with this. You know, they're fighting, obviously, in Turkey. They'll be fighting for the ruling of their country by a dictator, most presumably for life. And I think that, you know, when you look at the First Amendment in this country, and we're journalists, obviously it's what we do for a living. When you see events being shut down and you see the discourse, just because you don't like what someone is saying doesn't mean they don't have a right to say it, and we've fought for this right for so long. And it should be concerning in this country that you have, it seems almost that some of the media pundits are jumping in and weighing in as to what, you know, why they think this is plausible or not, when they should be really reporting the news and be worried about that First Amendment, because we really need to make sure that the media can hold these politicians to account.
And somebody at a recent Trump rally said just that. They said, I don't necessarily agree with him, but I have come here to listen to him without the filter of the media and be able to hear his full entire speech. I may agree with it, I may not, but I have the right to listen to it, and I can't because of others.
Exactly, and a lot of members of the media are participating in this story. They're not actually being the observers, you know, blindfolded. Never mind who's running, but we're a very toxic environment right now. Policy are, you know, it just seems like you're either this or this, and there's no gray area. And American people, it seems to me, are speaking up when they're putting their vote down for Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. It's clear they're tired of this Washington D.C. folks just running things the way they want to without paying attention to the American people. So this is our way of being relevant. This is the way that our country was founded on. Speech.
Well, this seems like a big problem, obviously bigger ones
Yeah.
in Turkey. Thank you so much for
Thank
bringing
you.
that story and that insight, and we will see you next weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kimberly.